Hey Cloud Gurus, and welcome to this episode of Azure This Week. In this episode, we're going to take a look at 3 new updates from the land of Microsoft Azure. The video indexer is now generally available. There's a great blog post comparing GPUs and CPUs for deep learning, and there's a brand new Azure course right here on A Cloud Guru. Before we dive into the Azure goodness this week, I wanted to remind you that A Cloud Guru will be in Orlando next week attending the Microsoft Ignite conference from the 24th to the 28th of September. I unfortunately cannot make it, but if you're going to be attending, then you will be able to find Lars Klint, Peter Sparsky and Sam Kroonenberg from the A Cloud Guru team. The Azure Video Indexer is a great tool for analysing videos. You simply upload a video and it performs a ton of awesomeness, such as transcription, language detection, captioning, noise reduction, OCR, face detection and so much more. It can even identify celebrities. It's a really powerful tool for getting insight into your video assets. This week, the Video Indexer service has now become generally available. Along with this comes a few new features too. Firstly, there's some additional models, including a new emotion detection model, which will detect emotion based on both speech content and voice tonality. Emotion is then divided into 4 states: anger, fear, joy and sadness. You can see the exact time that the emotion was detected, and as per other insights, you can either view these in the Indexer UI or get the results as JSON. You can get started with the Video Indexer over at the link below. When it comes to deep learning, choosing the right type of hardware is a popular topic for discussion. It's widely considered that GPUs should be used due to significant speed advantages over CPUs, but they do come at a higher cost. So often people will use CPUs instead for tasks that aren't as resource heavy as training, such as inference. This week, Matthew Salvaris and Daniel Greco from the Azure Customer Advisory team have published a blog that puts the argument to rest. In their research, they took 2 deep learning frameworks, TensorFlow 1.8 and Keras 2.1.6, as a backend for 5 different models with varying network sizes. They ran these models on 4 different Azure Kubernetes Service or AKS clusters, one with a single node GPU, a 2-node GPU cluster, a 3-node GPU cluster, and finally a 5-node CPU cluster. The results are interesting. As probably expected, GPUs outperform the CPU cluster every time. But the most interesting part for me was that the 3-node GPU cluster, so the red bar in the graph, is approximately the same dollar per month cost as the 5-node CPU cluster, which is represented as blue in the graph. So a significant performance increase for pretty much the same price. They did note, however, that for standard machine learning models with less parameters than deep learning models, CPUs should still be considered as more cost efficient and effective. So I'm super excited to include this update this week. There's a brand new course right here on A Cloud Guru to teach you all about serverless on Azure. And the course is delivered by me, so of course I encourage you to check it out. This course is aimed at developers who are looking to understand the world of serverless in Azure. Whether you're familiar with Azure already and you wish to learn about serverless, or you've used serverless offerings from other providers and just want to know what it's all about in Azure, this is then the course for you. In this course, we'll walk through building an application using Azure Functions, Logic Apps, and Event Grid. So if that floats your boat, then check it out at the link below. And that's it for this episode of Azure This Week, where we looked at the now generally available Video Indexer, a comparison of GPUs and CPUs for deep learning, and updated you on my brand new course for serverless on Azure. Oh, and don't forget, you can catch up with Lars, Pete and Sam at the Ignite conference in Orlando next week if you're around. Until next week, keep being awesome, Cloud Gurus.